Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. And also hit the thumbs up button because it helps to get my videos out in front of more people. So in today's video, I want to talk about my depression and anxiety. I know it's something that a lot of people deal with, and I realize everybody deals with it in a different way, or it affects you in a different way. So I just wanted to kind of go over how it affects me, how I deal with it. So I first started noticing my depression shortly after graduating from high school. At the time, I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that I felt down and not really like myself. I wasn't interested in doing the stuff I normally was. I was sleeping a lot. I really wasn't eating as much as I should have been. I just generally felt like down all the time, and I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe I was coming down with something. So I finally decided to talk to my doctor about it. It was around winter time when I went to talk to him. And he said that it could have been, I guess they call it SAD. It's like the seasonal affective disorder. He said that's what it could have been. So just to kind of keep an eye on it until like later in the year and see if it got better over time. So I waited until the following summer, and I still felt the same. I felt down. I felt disinterested, even going out and doing things with people. I didn't really feel like I was actually into it all that much. So I went back to my family doctor, and he prescribed me to be on an antidepressant called Celexa. I took that for a while, but all it did was make me feel like a zombie. I felt like I was there, but not really, if that makes sense. I just felt numb, like I wasn't happy, I wasn't sad. I was just kind of, level all the time, and I didn't like that feeling. Because even if I was doing something fun and I felt like having fun, inside I was just feeling completely blah about everything. So I went off the medication, and I just felt like I could just deal with it myself. And I did for a few years, and it just became like part of who I was. That's just how I felt. That was my normal. But eventually it started getting too much for me to bear. And I did some research, and I found a local counseling center, and I called them and I set up the appointment, made sure they accepted Medicaid and all that stuff. And at the time, I was kind of embarrassed to talk about it. I didn't really want anybody to know what I was doing, that I was going to counseling and all that stuff. So I asked my friend Cody to go with me. And at the time, I didn't have my van, so we rode the bus. And we went up, and he took me to my first appointment, got me set up and all that stuff. And even after my first appointment talking with the counselor, just that initial conversation to figure out what I was feeling, why I needed to talk to someone about it and all of that, it just felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. My journey with counselors has been kind of difficult because you start talking with someone, you get completely comfortable, and you can tell them anything. And you feel like that's who you want to talk to, and then they just leave. My first counselor just up and left, no notice. And then it took me a little bit to feel comfortable with signing up with a second counselor, because I feel like every time I have a new counselor, I have to start completely over from square one, explaining what I've been talking about, what I've been going through, all that stuff. So a lot of time is wasting just trying to catch them up, and they're not really that in tuned with what's going on. And my second counselor, she just up and left as well. But eventually I was bounced to a third counselor, and she was the best person that I've ever talked to. And I actually followed her from the first counseling center to her new office, and I was there with her for a couple years. And then she started her own practice, and I followed her again, and I went and saw her regularly every week up until she closed her practice just a few months ago. And I haven't talked to anybody new since. I've just been kind of using the tools I've learned and just dealing with things on my own. I probably should reach out and find a new counselor just to have that person to talk to each week. Just kind of get things off my chest and have that non-biased person to talk to. For me, that's the easiest way to figure things out, is to talk to someone who is completely outside the situation, and then just maybe they can hear something that I'm not hearing when I speak it out. And a lot of times when I'm just talking about what's going on in my head, or my life, or whatever, what's bothering me, just as I'm speaking it, it helps my brain to like notice what's really going on and think of something to do, and then they suggest the same thing. So it's a good confirmation as to what I should be doing. And personally, I think everybody should have a counselor, someone to talk to that is completely outside of your social circle, your family circle, all that. Just someone who is there to listen and can give you non-biased feedback. Through our conversations each week, we kind of figured out that a lot of my depression wasn't actually depression, that a lot of it was anxiety induced. I have a really bad social anxiety, not to the point where I completely like shut myself in my house. I still go out and do things like go shopping and all that stuff. I just have problems with small groups of people, like going to people's houses, that kind of thing. And especially if there's children, I don't know what it is. I have a massive panic attack when I'm around kids. It's not all kids. Like my nieces and nephews are fine. Um, it's kids that I don't know and they don't know me. It's like this super tight closing feeling in my chest, like I can't breathe, like I just need to escape and get away. And it hits me really hard, especially like at playgrounds or if we're at like McDonald's or Burger King, in like the play area and there's kids around. I just feel like I cannot breathe. No matter what I try, if I try to relax and just ignore it or whatever, and I just know to avoid those areas and those situations. Also, a lot of my depression isn't always sadness anymore. Like, I'm not ever sad about anything. It's generally just a lack of motivation, a lack of want to do anything. I'm not interested in going anywhere, doing anything, seeing people. A lot of times I'm not really interested in eating. I'm not hungry. A lot of times on the days that I'm super depressed, and it's not the depression where I'm like crying or want to cry or anything. I just wake up in the morning and it's just like there's this cloud over my brain and I can't think straight. I can't focus. I don't want to do anything. And those days I usually just sit on my computer and turn on music and play Candy Crush until I run out of lives, and then maybe take a nap. So overall, it's just days of just complete non-motivation that gets to me anymore, because like my situation, the things I used to be depressed about, like sad depressed, really have no effect anymore, because I realize that they're not things to be sad about. They're just things that I need to deal with and work through. I mostly deal with anxiety now, just the anxiety of trying to keep on top of everything and just life, like bills and trying to keep up this channel. I always worry that I'm not filming enough. I'm not filming the right things. People aren't going to like it. And so I write out a full sheet of like ideas for videos, and I get like my outlines ready and everything like that. And then, you know, I start all the like the negative talk in my mind that, you know, it's not good enough, people aren't going to like it, all that stuff. And I just end up sitting and watching more YouTube videos instead of making them. And I know all those feelings are really, you know, unfounded, because when I do upload, there's a lot of good feedback. And I have so many people on here who are supportive of me, you know, always leaving comments, sending me messages, people who are patrons, people who send me things. And so I know that it's all like the negativity in my mind, you know, talking. It's nothing on the outside that's triggering it. But making these videos really does help, because once I do get over that hump of worrying and all the negativity and start filming a video and making it, you know, then it starts to flow and feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know this video kind of seems very rambling and I'm not really making any sense or connecting my thoughts. It's just stuff that goes on and the way I deal with things, and you know how it affects me. So anyways, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me talk. Please, if you're new here, be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you deal with depression or anxiety? And if you do, what are your methods of dealing with it? I always love to learn from new people and get some new insight and ideas on how to do things. So anyways, as always, if you'd like to reach out to me on my other platforms, all of the links to my social media accounts are in the description box below. If you'd like to support my channel, my Patreon, my merch, all that stuff is linked down in the description box as well. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I remember